Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? There we go. Looks like the mics is working. Wasn't working the first try, but I now look at it, and if I see the bubbles dancing, I know it works. So I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. We did. We had three wonderful picks. My lock this week was the Dallas getting the 8 with Kansas City Chiefs under. Even with those two incredibly stupid touchdowns by Oakland by Casey's mistakes, we were still easily under, as the over-under was like 48 in the teaser, and it was 34, giving them 14 points. The other plays yesterday were the over in the Philadelphia game, as well as Philadelphia. And then I had the over in the Frisco-Baltimore game in 5 teasers. So I'm not really worried about that because Baltimore scores. They had a lot of interceptions, a couple in the end zone. Purdy didn't look good where the play calling was not good. Hey, Alex, how are you today? So, I don't think Purdy didn't read the defense right. I mean, right away in the first drive, if they score a touchdown, they're going to blow out Frisco. Or they're going to blow out Baltimore. But what I saw is when Trent Williams went out with the injury for the Niners, then now everybody's saying, look how good Baltimore is. Well, Clowney walked in, and it was like he was playing a high school guy. Couldn't even block him. So I don't take that into account. This is the frustrating thing. So if Cleveland beat Baltimore, are Cleveland the best team? It's so stupid because Baltimore beat Frisco. Baltimore's the best team. No, they're not. Frisco's still the best team. There's some injuries in the game, but it all depends. But that's the problem with it. You can't look at one game, and so is who got it? Is Oakland the best team now in the AFC because they beat Kansas City? I don't understand it. People don't have good logic. Anyway, so it was a huge weekend for me. All my big games won except for the Denver game. I had the over in the Detroit game. I had the Rams. I had let's go through it. What my big games were over in the Rams, the over in the Minnesota-Detroit game, Tampa Bay over, Dallas I had 4 teasers getting 7.5, 8 points. Denver I lost on. I had Kansas City under and 5 teasers. Philadelphia lanes 6 and over. And the over in the Niner game I had 5 times. That's how you play teasers. So the only one was strange one was Denver losing to New England. Especially since they came back. Well, the one play on the kickoff, what was that? I never seen that. And then he gets a touchdown, and that's what cost him the game. Otherwise, Denver wins. So, what happens. The refs I find are horrible. It's not that they make the call. It's when they make the call. And then when you look at the call, the stupid announcers are in it with them going, oh, yeah, he definitely was holding. Oh, bullshit. If you were the quarterback at that time, Aikman or Romo or whoever the hell it is, they'd be screaming bloody murder for the offsides or the holding. There was some holding that was a joke, but they call it. And then the team goes down to the 5-yard line and comes back for holding. It's ridiculous. So it's terrible refereeing. They're really fucking the game up. It's very hard to watch. Too many rules, and that's really the point of it. Is they're trying to emphasize rules and law, and you got to list. It's just don't bring politics into my football, please. Like I say, it's like going in a 40, 41, and then they give you a speeding ticket for 41. You're like, what the fuck? It's 41. You usually have a 5 or 10 mile leeway. At least you used to. So that's where we're at with that. So overall, good week. And now let's quickly look at the bowl games for today, and then we'll get to the NFL for next week. There was a 2:00 game, Bowling Green, Minnesota. It's 2:05, so that is kicked off. Mini was 2.5, and the over/under went from 38 to 44. Minnesota has a new quarterback. I like Bowling Green in the game. I didn't bet it. It's just, I think Bowling Green can beat. Minnesota is terrible. Their quarterback play was horrible. A lot of guys hate the coach and left. So I don't know that. I don't know what anybody does in the bowls anymore. Does anybody care? Except for the two for the playoff. Does USC, I mean, Caleb Williams, I'm sitting out. Half the team sitting out. I don't care. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's supposed to be a big honor. You're in a bowl game. Oh, we got the 6 wins. Now we're bowl eligible, and nobody cares. So it's really kind of getting stupid. The next game is Texas State, 3.5, 60 over Rice. I think it'll be a pretty high scoring game in that one. And Kansas went from 12.5 to 11.5 and 64 to 66. It should be a normal Kansas game, 80 points, 90 points scored here. Vegas can score. Kansas. Now, Kansas's offensive coordinator is now the offensive coordinator at Penn State. However, is it the offensive coordinator calling the plays or the coach? I think it's the head coach. I think it's just like Belichick at New England. The defensive coordinators don't know what they're doing. And I think it's the same thing at half these colleges where the head coach, Georgia, it's not the defensive coordinator. He went to Oregon. They're still strong defensively. So I think it's the head coach that does most of this stuff. And so when you lose a coordinator, is it Charlie Weiss or is it Tom Brady calling the plays? So those are the 3 today. So Texas State, Rice should be way up there in points. Texas State's an over team with the 37. Rice is an over team with 33 defense. Rice is an over team with the 27. And they're really not, nobody on these teams are getting ready for the NFL. Some might be in the transfer portal, but not many. The backup quarterback, the starting quarterback for Rice is retired. His injury, he has to retire. So the backup, but he's played in 4 or 5 games, so I'm not worried. Kansas and Vegas. Kansas an over team with the 26 defense. Vegas an over team with the 27 defense. So I take that and I'll go over with both of those games. The Kansas is 65 and the Texas State 60. So I really love the Texas State at 54. That's a joke. Kansas a little bit more, but it's Daniels is questionable, but I prefer Bean. Bean's the better quarterback. He seems to get more scoring in, so we will see. I'm not really too worried about the offensive coordinator going to Penn State. Why don't they wait till after the fucking game? I don't understand this. So those are your 2 games today. Tomorrow we got Virginia Tech, 9.5, 46 to Tulane, and the whole Tulane team's out. There's at least 12 starters that are out. As far as I can tell, they're in transfer portal, and I don't see where they're playing. So I don't know. I think Tulane's coach went somewhere, and the Troy coach is going to be the Tulane coach, and all the Tulane players said, fuck it. North Carolina, West Virginia. West Virginia is 6 and 56. The 3rd string quarterback is the quarterback for North Carolina. May is getting ready for the NFL. He's got to, take a nap? I don't understand that. And then we've got Louisville and SC, same thing. The whole USC team is getting ready for the NFL or transferring. I don't know why you would transfer from USC. So this 3rd string quarterback nobody's ever heard of. I don't even know if it's the coach's recruit or the old coach's recruit. I assume the new coach's recruit. So he's probably a freshman. Louisville with a strong defense. They're laying 7, and USC has a 35 defense. I think Louisville gets them. And A&M, Oak State, 3/4 of the A&M team's not playing. They got a 21 defense. Again, they're using their third string quarterback. As far as Oak State, Bowman, it says is playing, and Ollie Gordon, it says is playing. And if Ollie Gordon's playing against half the team being out, I like Ollie Gordon. Look for him to light it up. So that is tomorrow's games. And then we can go to the 28th. We've got SMU 10.5, 50 against BC. Let me do this. Louisville's an A team with a 20 defense. USC, I've now made a W team because without Caleb, they're not going to score, and they still give up 35 a game. A&M was an A team, but now they're not going to. Their third string quarterbacks playing. You got a 21 defense. Oak State's an over team with the 29 defense. So there could be points, and I don't know with the third string quarterback. How do you play it? Bowling Green. Yep. You took Minnesota though because they're in the Big Ten. Oak State. So Oak State's an over team, 29 defense, but A&M isn't going to do much. Virginia Tech's an E team with a 24 defense. Tulane, I don't know what to rate them because now the whole team's out, so they're not a B team anymore. This is where it gets difficult. You don't know what the team is anymore because the normal guys. North Carolina's an over team with the 27 defense, not without Drake May. They're now a W team. West Virginia's quarterback is playing. They are an over team with the 27. I like West Virginia there. Then we get to the 28th. All right. SMU, 10.5, 50 to BC. A&M's an A team. Stone's out, but he missed the playoff game, and they won anyway with the backup, and the backup will be playing. Stone has a broken leg. BC's an over team with the 30 defense. SMU's a strong. They got a 17. I like A&M. I like SMU here. Rutgers, Miami, 2 under teams. Miami's playing their third string quarterback. Van Dyke said, "See you later." The other guy's hurt. Rutgers, their starter is terrible. They're going to run the ball, and they got a 21 defense. So this looks like an under game with Miami's third string quarterback and Rutgers, who can't score on anybody. NC State, Kansas State, Will Howard is out, so they're second or third string quarterback. NC State's an E team with a 20 defense. Kansas State's not an A team without Will Howard. What do you rank them? And now they're a 21 defense. So this could be an under game, but again, you got to see how many guys are playing. And Arizona 2-63 to Oklahoma without their quarterback Gabriel and 5 or 6 other players. I like Arizona here. They're better than Oklahoma anyway. Even if Gabriel played, I'd take Arizona as a dog, but they've got clearly the better offense, clearly the better quarterback because their starter's playing. Great defense, and Oklahoma's got what? Nobody cares. This is the problem. How motivated did the teams get? And what do we look at? We look at motivation the whole way, right? We look at, Baltimore needs the game. Buffalo needs the game. And that's what we look for, right? We want the motivated team who needs the game, not Arizona and Washington who could care less, and it shows. And so this is the problem that you have, like in the NFL. So here, how motivated is Oklahoma? How motivated is A&M? Now, some teams get motivated, like Bowling Green, because they want to show, hey, we can beat Minnesota. It's still a Big Ten team. We're in the bowl. And that all comes down to coaching. And when I see a team like Miami's coach has his head up his ass anyway. But when Drake May sits out, it's a bad thing on the coach. But Arizona, I think they will come to play and get a big win over Oklahoma. So I like them. Then on the 29th, we've got Notre Dame, 6.5. I got to get an updated line. 6.5, 44 to Oregon State. Oregon State, third string quarterbacks playing, who played last year. Notre Dame, Hartman's out, and 8 of their 11 offensive starters are going to vacation. So all I can do is play the game under because I don't have any offense on either team. Clemson, Kentucky. Now they both seem to be playing. Clemson 5.5, 47. Clemson's a B team with a 20 defense. Kentucky's an E team with a 25. I don't know. I have not. I think Kentucky can take it because they beat Louisville when Louisville was trying. So I think Kentucky's a pretty good bet. Memphis, Iowa State. Iowa State 8.5, 57. They're playing Rocco Beck. They got a great coach in Campbell. That's what I thought the Lions got when they got Campbell. I said, oh, they got the Iowa State coach. What a great hire. And then it's like somebody who's never coached before. Oh, that's typical Lions. So, yeah, I like Iowa State. Memphis, strong offense, 29 defense, over team. Iowa State, strong defense always. E team, they're scoring more with the 22 defense. I actually think this is an over because I think Iowa State with Rocco Breck's going to put up 30 points on Memphis. Memphis will score a little on Iowa State or go Iowa State. And Missouri, Ohio State, Devin Brown will be the quarterback. I looked, he has no stats. He's like 5 of 6 for 100 yards for the year. Nothing last year. He's probably a running quarterback. He sounds like one, Devin Brown. Where McCord was more of a pocket passer. And the problem is with Ohio State's type of offense, you need a running quarterback like USC, like Oklahoma. They're based on running quarterbacks, not throwing quarterbacks. That's why Rattler didn't look good at Oklahoma. And Caleb ran a little bit, but he didn't run this year with SC. They lost 6 games. So I like Missouri. Missouri's a much better team than Ohio State. They got a 22 defense. Ohio State with a 10. But are they going to try? Maybe. Let's see if Marvin Harrison plays. Let's see if Henderson, the running back, plays. So defensively, they were pretty good. They held Michigan to 30. Again, Missouri will be right in this game. Don't think Missouri's not a good team. They played Georgia down to the wire. They're an excellent team. So that goes through the 29th, and today's the 26th. So you got Texas State, Rice, 2 over teams, and Kansas Vegas, 2 over teams. Enough said. So that's your college football. Let's go to the pro football. So let's look at the games and who needs what and where, why, and how next week. So we've got where's my pen? I just had a here we go. So Thursday night we got the Jets at Cleveland. Cleveland, I spread 7. Their spread 7. Over under a 35. Since I just went to the pool, I really don't have the updated stats, but we can look at last week to get pretty much what we need. Really, the stats aren't going to change hardly at all from week to week. After you got 16 weeks of data, the 17th week is really not going to change it. Even if you win 52-0, which there wasn't, that might move it a point or 2. So the Jets in Cleveland, the Jets we know are where are the Jets? The Jets I got as a W team. They don't score and they give up 21 against Cleveland, who Alex is saying is an over team now. I still have them as an under team, but I'll have to look at the Flacco stats. They got 36 on Houston. Houston doesn't know how to cover the Alabama Amari Cooper. All of a sudden they make him look like a superstar? Really? How the hell did that happen? So I didn't know Amari Cooper was that good until he faces Houston, and now we see Houston's real problems. They have no secondary and no defense. Jacksonville's losing. Indy's losing. Indy I can't figure out. They look pretty good. Then they lose 29-10 to Atlanta, who Atlanta's got a 20 defense, okay, but not great. Anyway, so the Jets in Cleveland, I think we know Cleveland needs the game. Detroit and Dallas, I got Dallas -7. The line's 6.5 or so. over under of 52. Detroit is a 27 defense against good teams. Dallas, I will say, is a good team. Dallas is with a 19 defense. So big edge to Dallas at home. Dallas has to now catch Philly. Dallas will be playing. How does Detroit play now that they clinched the NFC North? Although if Georgia was in it, they wouldn't be clinching anything. So we have to see. I think Dallas got some over under 52. It's kind of a high over for the Vegas hasn't put up anything over the 40s in a while. Detroit's an over team, but this could be lay an egg. I mean, how mentally are they going to be ready for this game? They don't need it. They've clinched the division, and Dallas must win, and Micah Parsons will be all over the place. I don't know. I think this is more of a Dallas than fucking with the over, but we'll see. Buffalo, New England, Buffalo in a must-win. Buffalo -10 and 40 against New England. Zappe scoring more points like he did against Denver. Buffalo does not have a great defense. Buffalo's defense is the most fake 18 I've ever seen to give up 22 to San Diego. Let's call them a 22-24 defense against New England with their 21 defense. So they have a 21 defense, and they gave up 23 to Denver. So they're about a 21 defense. So I think this game goes way over. I don't think Buffalo is going to have trouble moving on New England. And Zappe will get you some points. The 10, Buffalo should, I don't know. I'm so tired. Buffalo should blow them out, but how the hell do you do 24-22 with San Diego with stick? You can't handle stick. Oh, my God. See, this is the problem, these defensive coordinators. Well, let's play zone. No, blitz the guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. Unbelievable. Chicago, Atlanta. Atlanta needs the game. I think mathematically they can still get there, but I don't think they will. I don't know if they can still win the division, although they did get the win over Indy. I think this is an easy over, 37 with the Bears. The Bears are always over. You go down to 31 with the Bears against Atlanta. Atlanta doesn't have – neither team's got this great defense. What did the Bears do with yesterday with Arizona? 27-16 of 43. They got a 24 defense. In Atlanta, as we said, they've got a 20 defense. I think this goes way over 31. This is where Vegas is so screwed up. This line is 10 points too low. There should be a 45-47 because with Fields, they score more. But when you had the grocery clerk in for 3 or 4 games, he didn't. So it's skewed. If you just take the field stats, you're teasing it to 31. This will be at halftime 31. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vegas. Oakland, Indy. Indy, about what I got there at home, 3.5. Over under 43. Love the game under with Oakland's defense. They didn't score on Kansas City, that's why I locked the under yesterday. I knew they wouldn't score on KC with the strong defense, and I didn't think KC would score much on Oakland. It should have been really a 14-6 game is what KC should have won. I don't know how they give them the touchdown. I don't know if they're running a reverse at their own 10-yard line for. And then Mahomes throws a pick 6. What was that? I mean, why do you run those corner outs? I mean, 9 times out of 10, they get pick 6. And maybe if you're lucky, you complete it and you gain 5 yards. So it's the risk of gaining 5 yards to giving up a pick 6. Probably doesn't sound like a good thing. And you fooled Mahomes. So, interesting. But I don't think Indy scores in this game too much. Oakland's playing well. Oakland won't score too much. They don't have any offense. Again, this over under is ridiculously high, 43. The Atlanta game should be 43, and the Oakland should be 37. They've got the games switched. The Rams 7 over the Giants. Rams must win. Keep going. They're hot. Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald. The whole cast is there. And if you notice, they got rid of Goff. Goff's so good, but they got rid of him for Stafford. That's how good Goff is. Terrible choke. And 7 and 42. I think they beat the Giants easily. Giants are a Z team. That was a joke yesterday. The guy tackles his own guy in the kickoff, causing a fumble. And then there was I think, was it a pick six or another bullshit touchdown for the Giants. So really, the Eagles beat them by 30. What are you doing play-by-play, Alex? Not really concerned about the game. Now, if you can give me some info into some injuries, then I would like that. But I don't really care about the Minnesota Bowling Green. No bet there. No interest. Okie doke. So, where we're at. So the Rams should take care of the Giants. Again, they got 2 lucky breaks. Tyrod Taylor or Danny DeVito. Danny looked terrible again. Tyrod doesn't look much better. Just don't do first down, and don't do if they're calling it for we need a replay. I don't want to hear that. What's with these highlights? I watched the highlights. They're showing me the ref signal pass interference, and they're showing me the instant replay bullshit. And then there'll be a touchdown early in the game. They show it to me 5 times. This is highlights. I don't want to see it. I just want, there's a touchdown, move on. The worst is college. I'll go to some of the old, and then they'll have the introductions, and here's Woody Hayes, and the starting lineups, and Keith Jackson. It's 10 minutes till you get to the game. Just get to the game. I don't need it. All right. So I think LA must win. The Giants, Tyrod Taylor. I don't think LA will have too much problem here. Arizona, Philly. Again, Philly in a must win. If Dallas loses to Detroit, then Philly clinches their division with a win. I don't see Dallas losing to. See, the thing is, as I said about motivation, Dallas has to win because they're a game behind Philly. Detroit doesn't. Detroit's clinched their division. They will relax. It's just the way mental psychology is. You just relax. I mean, you study hard for a test, you take the test. The test is over, you relax. You don't keep the same thing. So the Lions got a lucky win at Minnesota. What do you think they're going to go and be all up for Dallas? Are you kidding me? At Dallas, they know they can afford to lose. They will lose. There's no way they're going to beat Dallas. There's no way they'll be prepared for it or up for it mentally. Maybe they'll start out that way, but Micah Parsons will get a pick 6 and the game's over. All right, so Philly, Arizona. The only way I can play Philly is over now with Matt Patricia. Probably the worst defensive coordinator in the history of football. He couldn't figure out how to defend Danny DeVito and Tyrod Taylor. Wow. I did like the Georgia guy made the interception at the end. He finally got in. So look for this to be 48. Look for this over 42. I don't know that I can trust Philly -4. They don't have the offense. Arizona, Kyler Murray will run around, and he doesn't realize he's the quarterback and he's supposed to throw the ball. He thinks he's supposed to run. he runs to like the 20-yard line, and then he throws 4 incompletions, and they kick a field goal or they go for it on 4th down. So Philly needs the game. And now they're all tied for number 1 seed, although the Niners beat Philly and the Niners beat Dallas. So realistically, the Niners have the 1-game lead on them. Tampa Bay 3-42 to New Orleans. This should be a playoff game. They both need it. New Orleans, do or die. Tampa at home. I don't think Tampa's all that. I hate their coach. 342. Is it I think it's maybe an over with Olave playing and Kamara. They're going to get their points. Tampa, Mayfield, and their receivers. So I think you go over 36, or you take New Orleans and 9. But I think it's a playoff game, and I don't trust Tampa to blow out New Orleans. I don't see that. The Niners, 14-48 to Washington. Well. First of all, Washington's a 30 defense and a Z team. They lost to the JETSs yesterday, 30-28. You give up 30 to who was the quarterback? Simeon. Simeon's lighting them up. Tampa off the loss. I think Frisco kills them. They'll lock up the 1 seed. With the win, I think they lock up the 1 seed because they'll have, if Dallas and Philly tie with them, they beat them both. So they would get the nod. That's the difference. They played those teams and the Lions didn't. And you're trying to compare the Lions to Frisco because they have the same record, and it doesn't work because they didn't play the same schedule. They played the cupcake schedule. They played the Big Ten schedule. And Philadelphia is playing, and Frisco is playing the SEC schedule. All right, so, I mean, I think Frisco kills them. I think Frisco scores a lot. I mean, maybe this is an over, but I'm always scared with Frisco what to do with the over-under. Baltimore, I see, is a high-scoring team. They score. But Frisco, they score, but their defense could shut you out, and then you don't get the over. So, but you can't. Like yesterday, I knew was an over with Frisco, Baltimore. This one, I don't know if Washington's going to get me points or not. Jacksonville 7-38 to Carolina. I think Jacksonville finally gets the win, playing the Z team at home, do or die. They need the game to win their division. They're all 8-7. That's how good that division is. Jacksonville sucks. Trevor Lawrence is terrible. So is Steve Young for Carolina, and I just think Jacksonville gets the win at home. Carolina tried against Green Bay. Green Bay showing their worth is up 13 points late. And they ended up tying, and then Green Bay won with the field. They gave up 14 points to Carolina. And Carolina's so stupid. They scored to go down 7 or 8. I think they scored to go. They were down 8. All they got to do is kick the field goal, and they're down 7. They go for 2, and they don't make it. Now they're down 8. Now they score, and then they go for 2, and they get it to tie the game up. And you're like, well, if you would have just kicked the extra point, you'd have been down 7, and then you go for the 2, and you would have won. I don't understand going for the 2 when you're down 14. So instead of getting down 7, kicking the extra point, which is automatic, you're going to go for 2, which is maybe 10% that you're going to make it. And as it turns out, they didn't make it. Then if you want to go for the win, kick your extra point. You're down 7. Then if you score, then you go for 2 if you want to win the game. I would still kick the extra point and go to overtime because I'm not going to lose it by going for 2. My players deserve more than that. So we're not going to do that. With Green Bay, really, you gave – did you play the prevent zone and gave up 2 touchdowns to Steve Young? I mean, is this what you did? Probably. So it was just a great coaching by Green Bay. Yeah, they'll do a lot. So now the Green Bay-Minnesota game is becoming more and more clear to go over because neither team really has a defense. All right. Miami, Baltimore. After watching Baltimore, now it's deceiving because they did have a good defense early. Then the tackle goes out, and then Clowney's, like a man against boys. The backup left tackle, what is he doing out there? Why is he on the team? Why is he in the league? He stinks. The other left tackle for Kansas City, why is he in the league? He doesn't even know what guy to pick up. They were going back to pass, and he wasn't even picking up the guy. And the guy would just go right to Mahomes, and he was blocking the wrong guy, the left tackle for Kansas City. So the left tackle for the Niners is fine, and then the backup is clueless. How does that happen? How is the coach that stupid that he can't coach his left tackle? No. You get this guy. And then how Clooney runs him over. Why is he on the team? He can't block. Just amazing how bad the coaching is. That's all I can say. Baltimore 3-46 to Miami. This is a strong over. Baltimore will put up, I think, 40 points in this game on Miami. They put up 33 on the Niners. They're going to put up 40 here. Miami doesn't have a defense. Miami, I'm questioning how much they put up. I think Baltimore -3, +3 is gold, and I think the game over 40 is gold. I think both are gold. Baltimore, okay, they're not that good. Yeah, they beat the Niners. They lost to Cleveland and Pittsburgh, so they're not that good. That's the problem with it, right? It's you put too much into they won, but then look who they lost to, and it's immaterial. Even that they beat Frisco, Frisco's still the better team. They got the better quarterback. They got the better coach. Well, I don't know about that. They got the better defense. They get the better receivers, the better offense. So they lost because bad play calling mostly. Those interceptions by Purdy was on terrible play calling. Why didn't they run McCaffrey more? If you're having problems with your offensive line and you're getting sacked a lot, and the same thing with Kansas City, if they're sacking you, that means you can run all over them because they're not looking for the run. So I think that the Niners should have ran McCaffrey the whole second half and not even thrown a pass. They should have just ran it down their throats. That's how you beat. It's the same thing with how do you handle Lamar? You sack him, you blitz him. You don't give him time to. He doesn't know how to read. He doesn't know, like when he gets. Here's my point. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, they get to the line. Oh, that guy's. I'm throwing to this guy before they hike the ball. That's the guy. There's my bitch right there. And half these guys they're clueless. They don't know what they're doing, and then they're all running around. It's like playground high school football. I'm going to run to my right and hope somebody gets open, and then I'll try to throw the ball. What the fuck is that? That's not football. And when you watch all the quarterbacks, all these running, Lamar and Hurts and all, they can't wait to get the ball and run to the right and then pray somebody gets open. This is offensive football now. Oh my! You've totally lost the other half of the field, and you bail out very quickly. So it's stupid football, really. With that said, I like Baltimore to win at home. Laying the 3, I would never take Miami in 9. After seeing them against Dallas, I certainly would not take Miami plus the 9. I don't think they're a good coach team. I think they don't use Tyreek Hill enough. Mozart looks good running back. Tag, I don't know. You blitz him, he's dead. And Lamar, same thing. But it's just hard. The Baltimore defense should pressure. I like that they're going to blitz Tagliavua, and that's all. He's all done. So Baltimore wins this game. They clinched the 1 seed, and then we got Miami Buffalo for the division on that side. If Buffalo beats New England, which I'm not quite sure they can do, and then Miami loses to Baltimore, then they'll have a 1-game lead over Buffalo. And then then Buffalo comes in and they can't handle Buffalo. They can't handle good offenses. Too weak on the defense. All right, Houston 443 to Tennessee. I have no idea how to figure any of these teams out. Houston, Stroud's been out for a month. They haven't won. They got Case Keenum, who shouldn't be hurting them too much. Tennessee went back to Tannehill. And Seattle, give Seattle credit. They scored late and won the game. Coach Pete, Geno Smith and the receivers. Tannehill, they don't run Henry enough. And, Henry keeps with these – Henry threw for a touchdown. They mean, that's his fourth touchdown of his career. And I'm like, why is he throwing touchdown passes? You want the guy to run, not throw halfback options. Jesus Christ, these coaches. Houston 443. I'm tempted to take Tennessee as a dog. Over under 43. I have no idea what we're getting here. I cannot figure out either of these teams if they're going to score or not. Let's look. Houston scores 22, gives up 36 to Flacco, and Tennessee loses to Seattle 2017. I know Tennessee's got a pretty good defense. I think Tennessee plus the 10 is probably the way to go there. Looks like Houston does not have a defense, and so I prefer playing the better defensive teams. Seattle 4 over Pittsburgh and 40. Seattle, I think, will kill them. Pittsburgh's terrible. Who their quarterback is, you're going to Kyle Rudolph, who put up 34 on Cincinnati based on all these interceptions. All the games come down to the turnovers. If you get the turnovers, you get the points. And that's like yesterday. If Baltimore, if Frisco doesn't turn the ball over at the goal line and kick a field goal, because they lose the momentum and you didn't score. And that makes the game a whole lot different if it's close than if it's a blowout. So I think, why are you going to Rudolph now? And then he lights it up and you're like, now it's turnovers, but he lights it up and you're like, well, why do you have Trubisky on your team if you have Rudolph? If Rudolph's better, why do you play Trubisky? Oh, because your coach is an idiot. Oh, yeah, okay, I get it. So Rudolph, is he really that good? Is he going to light it up? Well, they're not playing Cincinnati. They're at Seattle. Pitt's defense any good? Don't know. They gave up 11. They picked Browning 3 or 4 times. They're not going to pick Geno Smith. He's a whole different animal. And it's at Seattle. I think Seattle is playing better, but it's not a shoe-in. And then the over-under of 40, I think goes over 40 with the receivers. I think Seattle, if it's close at the end, they'll be scoring like there was in the game. Denver 6-38 to San Diego. Denver in a must-win game. This is an over game. Denver gives up 26 to New England and Zappy. I thought they were playing better defense in San Diego. Stick gets 22 on Buffalo. So that's why Buffalo, I always question their defense. That's why they never go to the Super Bowl. And even if they get there, they don't have a defense. They never had a defense. Ask Jim Kelly what kind of defense they had. And Denver, I don't know where their defense went. This should be a close game, and I would go over 38. Russell Wilson against Stick, I mean, that's worth at least 32 points. Kansas City, Cincinnati. The Cincinnati still have a mathematical shot. They're 7-8. They can go 9-8. Is 9-8? If you got to ask, it's probably not really in the cards. KC 745. I think this is a no-brainer. Kansas City -1 at home, off of a loss to Oakland, where they really defensively played well. They just didn't score, which we know. Maybe we go under. It's a 45. So I think KC in the 40s go under. Why is this game 45 and the Denver-San Diego game 38? Another switch, right? This should be 38 and Denver-San Diego should be 45. I don't get Denver-San Diego 38, but I won't say anything I'll go over 32 all day, and then KC, I'll go under 51 all day in a KC game. They'll never get there. And now that we figured out Mr. Browning, somebody said, I was listening to it, and they said, well, he's from a Power 5 school. I think he played for Washington. And so what? He was terrible. And believe me, if he was any good, I would let you know. He's not very good. And then he looked like that against Pittsburgh, 3-4 interceptions. And against KC, they're going to put pressure on him. I don't think this will be a very low-scoring game also. And the last is mini Green Bay. Do they still have a shot? I guess. Because you have Dallas, Philly gets the one wild card. And then the Rams and Seattle are probably going to get the second and third wild card. But if they lose, see, the Rams, I think, beat the Giants. They'll be 9 or 10 wins, and they'll be in. And then the other is Seattle, who gets Pitt. I think they win, and then they get in. And then this game's meaningless, which it should be. I think you go over in the game because Green Bay just showed you they have no defense. They gave up 30 points to Steve Young. If you're giving up 30 to him, what are you going to do to whoever Minnesota's quarterback is going to be? Mullins. So they make a big deal. Mullins threw for 400 yards and had 4 picks. And of the 4 picks, 2 of them were terrible. He just throws it up to Jefferson, and the guy comes over and intercepts it. It was like he didn't even see the other players. Now, he had a lot of lucky plays to Jefferson. We're in a crowd. He throws it. Jefferson goes up and makes the catch. Like, incredible. Jefferson's the best receiver, and then Chase. And this is why I get an alliance for that Williams guy, because that's what a first-round draft pick should be, is Jefferson or Chase. If he's not going to be that, he's not a first-round draft pick. Williams is scared to get hit. He can't catch. He's supposedly fast, but who knows? The whole league's fast. They can play a 2-deep zone, and your fast guy is not fast, but he can't catch anyway. So he's coming along, but that's not a first-round draft pick. That's an 8th-round draft pick at best. That somebody you got to mentor and learn. This is how you run a pass pattern. Here's how you catch the ball. He's pathetic. So they could have had 2 Georgia guys. Instead, they got this idiot. So, again, very bad. But he's, you watch Jefferson and Chase play, and you go, and we got this guy? You want to compare him? So I think this is an over Green Bay, Minnesota. I don't know if they need it, but we will see. Let's fill in the blanks now. So let me go to the playoff tab. We will highlight. All right, AFC. So we got Miami at 11-4 in a must-win. Buffalo at 9-6 in a must-win. That's it. The Jets 6-9. I don't know. Everybody thinks the Jets suck. I mean, you lose Aaron Rodgers. Do you think they're as good without Aaron Rodgers? But the defense is killer, so I don't really get that. Then we got Baltimore and Cleveland. But then, so you got Buffalo at 9 wins. You've got Cleveland at 10 wins. I think they're your wild cards. Yeah. And then it's all the 8 teams, the 8-win teams fighting it out. So then you got Pitt and Cincinnati. Pitt, Cincinnati. That are 8-7, that they got to go 10-7, but Cleveland's already 10-5. Although Buffalo, if they lose to fucking New England and then lose to Miami, they're going to go 9-8. So mathematically, Pitt and Cincy are still in. Then you got the whole AFC South mess, Jacksonville, Indy, and Houston with 8 wins, but they're playing for the division. And somehow Tennessee could only win 5 games in the weakest division in all of football. 8-7. So we will see. Somebody's got to win the division, and then we're not sure about the wild card. Kansas City is up in the division. They could go 9-8, and if Denver would have just fucking beat, that's what pisses me off about Denver. They had the thing, and they fuck up with New England. So now they can go 9-8. Oakland can go 9-8. Kansas City can go 9-8. Kansas City did not wrap up the division yet, so KC must win. And then Oakland and Denver. KC's the night game. Oakland, so Denver is Sunday afternoon, and Oakland is playing Indy. So the Oakland Indy game, they both have, well, they're 7-8 and 8-7. Both mathematically can get in because Pitt has the 10 wins and that's it. Buffalo only with 9, although they're beating all the 8s, but they go 9-8 and all the 8 wins go 10-7. They win, right? So all the 8s are in or have a chance. San Diego, hard to believe they're 5-10. That coach should have been gone a long time ago. All right, so Cleveland against the Jets. Cleveland's 10-5, but they're not in yet. I guess they can go 10-7. They probably have a Pitt or Cincinnati game coming up. So I think if Cleveland loses their next 2 at 10-7, they would have lost to Pitt or Cincy 10-7, and the record would have been better or something. So Cleveland is not clinched. Miami and Baltimore have clinched, and that's it. So Cleveland needs the game against the Jets. Look at them. They play much better. Careful of the Jet defense. So right now the 1 seed's Baltimore, and then the 2 seed is Miami, and they play. So the winner is the 1 seed. So that's why I like the over in the game, because there'll be a ton of points. And it's only 46 down to 40 is a joke. They'll be there in the third quarter, not a problem, unless there's some sort of hurl. So we just got to check the weather before we bet the house on it. So Buffalo must win to win their division, and otherwise 9-6. They're not in because of the extra game now. They're 17. It's not in yet. The Jets and New England are out, and then the whole AFC North. Baltimore's looking for the 1 seed. Cleveland, we just said. Pitt and Cincy, depending on what happens, still could get the other wild card. So they need it. Then the whole Jacksonville into Houston are really going for the division. And let's see, we've got Tennessee playing Houston, Indy with Oakland, and Jacksonville gets Carolina. And then I would say the next week it's got to be they're all got to play each other. So Jacksonville, the must-win playing Carolina is probably the most likely scenario there. And they're only laying 7. It's amazing how weak Vegas is. Unbelievable. And then we got KC, who needs the game. And Oakland, Denver are long shots. But mathematically, we will see what happens. Denver hosts San Diego. And Oakland hosts, there's at Indy. So Oakland, Indy is really a playoff game. So I look at that to be low scoring. Miami, Baltimore, on the other hand, is a playoff game, but I look at it to be high scoring because they're both in the playoffs. So now it's just they go to town. Pitt needs a miracle. Denver needs a miracle. Cincinnati needs a miracle. 8-7, they go 10-7. 10-7 should get them in because Cleveland gets in. Cleveland's 10-5, but they're the only ones. And then you've got Buffalo at 9. So, if they lose to Miami, they end up with 9. So makes it a lot of mathematical possibilities with 2 games left. Now we go to the NFC. Philly 11-4, Detroit 11-4, and Frisco 11-4. So Detroit's in. Philly and Dallas are fighting for the division. So Dallas is fighting for the division. Philly's fighting for the division against Arizona. The Giants in Washington, no way. So there's a 10-win team. Then you got Minnie and Green Bay at 11. Now, Detroit doesn't need the game. Are they really going for the 1 seed? I guess they have a chance, but you need the Niners to lose to Washington? Yeah, okay. Good luck with that one. And you're playing at Dallas, and Dallas needs the game. So I wouldn't count the Lions. And then the Niners, and then the Rams in Seattle. Seattle must win. So Seattle's a playoff game. The Rams get the Giants like Jacksonville gets Carolina. They get the Z team. Look for them to pound them. So you've got the 3 playoff teams. So you got Dallas in at 10-5 as a wild card. And then you've got the 8-7 Rams and 8-7 Seahawks. Should be the other 2 playoffs as it is now. Tampa at 8-7 is winning the division, so they don't need the wild card. Although Atlanta and New Orleans are 7-8, so they could go to 9-8. And Rams and Seattle could finish 8-9. Mathematically, Atlanta and New Orleans are still going for the division anyway. So New Orleans, Tampa play each other. Atlanta gets the Bears. The Bears aren't bad. They're 6-9 actually, somehow. So the Rams, Seattle, Atlanta, New Orleans, Tampa. And then you got Carolina at 2-13 somehow. And then so the question is Minnesota, Green Bay. It's 7-8. Play Monday night. Atlanta, New Orleans, 7-8, but they're playing for the division to win the mighty NFC South that Georgia would have won 3 weeks ago. And then so the Rams in Seattle at 8. So yeah, they're a game back, depending on if the Rams in Seattle win. I guarantee you the Rams win. Seattle, it'll be a tough game with Pitt, depending on who Pitt's quarterback is. So let's give Green Bay, Minnesota a playoff game. The loser's out at 7-9. They can only go 8-9, and we've already got the Rams in Seattle at 8-7, and Tampa at 8, and then you got Dallas at 10, Philly at 11, and Detroit in that. So it's still a little bit because of this extra week. You've got 7 teams that are 7-8 should not be in the playoffs. So theoretically, they can go 8-9, make the playoffs, and it'd be like the bowl games. The guys, you got the 5th place team in the Sun Belt at 6-6, making a bowl game that nobody cares about. It's hysterical. So that's what we've got right now. Let's go through the line. All right, just had to say hi to Daria. So let's get the line. So let's revisit. Cleveland, 735.5. Okay. Dallas, 653.5. Okay. Baltimore, 3.5, 47. Buffalo, 11.5, 40.5. Chicago, 337.5. That stayed. Houston, 3.5, 42.5. Indy, 344.5. I like the game under, and it just went from 43 to 44.5. Loving it. Jacksonville, 738.5. We got to wait for Trevor Lawrence with the ankle and everything, but I'm sure he'll play. The Rams, 6.5, 42. Wow, went down. Thank you. Even better. Philly, 10.5, 48. Up from 10. Tampa, 2.5, 42. 2.5, 3. Frisco, 13.5, 48.5. Going down from 14, that's a weird one. Seattle, 3.5, 41.5. Going from 4 to 3.5. Kansas City, 7, 44.5. Okay, that stayed. Denver, 5.5, 38.5. Down from 6. And Minnesota, 1.5, 46.5. From 45. So yeah, they're betting it over. Okay, so that's what we have in week 17 of the NFL. 2 weeks to go. Then all the fun in the playoffs start. Total mismatches. So it's going to be Frisco and Philly in the championship game, and it'll be probably KC and Baltimore. Miami can't win a playoff game with that defense, that coach. Tag Tagliavoa, we know how he is in big games. It all comes down to defense, and you give it to KC and Baltimore. I think Baltimore might get into the Super Bowl this year. It's KC's offense is pathetic. Cincinnati would have been there with Burrow, and Denver would. I don't know what Denver's problem is. You got Sean Payton, you got Russell Wilson. I don't really get what the hell is going on there. All right, so right now, Cleveland -1 jumps out at me. Dallas even jumps out at me. Buffalo is like a warning. I don't want to lay 11.5 with that team. I like the Bears over. I like Oakland under. The Rams jump out at me. Philadelphia over jumps out at me. New Orleans, Tampa's a playoff game. I like the dog. The Niners, Washington off of a loss against the worst team in the league. Should pound them. We'll see. Jacksonville gets the Z team in Carolina. Should beat them. They need it. Miami, Baltimore. I don't know how the hell you bet against Baltimore or I think this goes way over. Houston, Tennessee, I have no idea. Tennessee doesn't need the game, but they're going to play. Seattle, Pitt is a playoff game. We'll see who the quarterbacks are. Denver, San Diego. Denver must have it. KC, Cincinnati. KC wants to clinch the division at least. I'd say they're gonna their receivers suck. I think keep betting them under. Them under Oakland. That's why I locked the game yesterday. Oakland strong under, KC strong under. Even with the 2 gift touchdowns, it stayed way under. It was 34, and I'm 48. And then Green Bay, Minnesota. I had to turn it off after the first one. I turn it on. I catch one play, and it's the fumble. The guy runs in for a touchdown. I said, okay, I can't watch this game. And I'm glad, because had I watched the next play and it was a pick six, I would have really I'd have been all done. So Philly gets most important win after 3 losses, and that's why you got to watch these. Dallas now has 2 losses in a row at home to Detroit. Can you say bye-bye, Detroit? I don't really see them having any chance of winning this game. And they'll just use it as an excuse. Well, it was just like the Baltimore game. Well, it was just one bad game. It was the first good team we played, and we got our ass kicked. But, it was just one bad play. All right. What else? College, we got a week for the playoff system, which sucks. The best 2 teams aren't even in the playoffs, Georgia and Oregon. It's a absolute joke. Florida State got fucked. Since when does the quarterback have to be healthy for you to be in the playoffs? What was that team? The Giants beat Buffalo with Jeff Hostetler. Or should that not count because Sims wasn't there? And I always thought Hostetler was 100 times better than Sims. I thought Sims sucked. They won because of Lawrence Taylor. I don't know, and that's what I look at. So again, we got Alabama as your free pick against Alabama's your free pick against Michigan, getting 7.5 in the teaser. And then we'll work on it. It looks like we might go. We'll see about the Miami-Baltimore over. Seems like the most logical over here. Miami should be able to score on them, and Baltimore, we know, will score on Miami. What was that score with Dallas? It was a 42, 22-20. This is 41, and they'll score a lot more than Dallas. Dallas, oh my God, this Prescott's stupid. They fumble at the goal line. What is that? It's the big play of the game. You get up 7-0, and you don't even you get the ball, and you don't even give it to the running back, who's the fullback. What are you doing? I don't know what Dallas does. They're the worst coach team I've ever seen. They'll never win. They'll never win in the playoffs with this Larry Moe and Curly but all right. All right, let's talk some economics. Now, I was watching Bill Howler, who I don't like, who steals all my shit, and I'm going to show you him steal some more of my shit.
I'm so tired of my neighbor Troy when he comes to me and asks, "Hey, Tom, can I please use your..."
Are guaranteed certificates of comp. Governments are lying.
Okay. I'm going to show you the first few minutes of this guy and how he steals all my stuff, but he can't explain it and how stupid he is. All right. I think I did comment. Yeah. Paper gold, laugh out loud, idiot. That's what I do to all these idiots that think they like paper gold. Okay, so we're going to take a quick switch to economics and gold in a minute. So I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to trash this guy.
To you about everything. They have a vested reason to push the price of gold down because that supports the currencies that they issue. We live in a Ponzi scheme. It has to be fed new cap.
Okay, where did he get Ponzi scheme from? I believe that was from me. So I hate when a guy listens, but he won't give me like, hey, why don't you watch the Teaser King, the professor? He stole my Titanic, and now he steals this.
Every day, you asked, how do you take advantage of the situation? And my response was, you're not going to take advantage of it. He who loses the least wins, because we're all going to be.
You take advantage by buying gold. He doesn't understand that. What an idiot.
Think about the Great Depression. It took 25 years for the stock market to come back. So this is going to be a long slog.
This guy doesn't understand
the
anything.
Easy life that we've had to this point is going to change drastically. I think any day that you wake up now, you can see a financial meltdown.
All right, Bill, thank you for being here, first of all, but you don't really need an introduction, so let's not lose any of your time today on that
Who is
thing.
he?
You're sort of an end of the world as we know it type of guy, as far as I understand it. And there's plenty of explanations. You've got plenty of reasons for that, plenty of videos online of yours as to why you're in that camp. People can also go to billhalter.com, I believe is your website, and see more of your videos. But what do you do with that conclusion practically? Like, how are you positioning yourself to take advantage of what's to come, or at least not be hurt by it?
First off, I do believe that the world as we've known it is going to change drastically. I'm in that camp, if you will, originally just because of mathematics, the logic of it. I mean, we live in a financial system that mathematically cannot continue on the same path. Then in the last, call it 5 years, from a social standpoint, society is breaking down. I mean, people have lost their minds. And then you can also add in what governments have been doing over the last, call it 20 years, since 9/11. I mean, governments have gotten more and more tyrannical. And I think we're at the end game of that. So, yeah, I am in that camp. I do believe the world is going to change drastically compared to as we know it. And I don't think anybody, there are some that the ones that are perpetrating this believe that they're going to benefit from it. But I don't think anybody's going to benefit from it. I don't think anybody's going to take advantage of it. I think you could go back to Richard Russell's, from a financial standpoint, he who loses the least wins, because we're all going to be losers in this.
I want to go back to, again, how do you deal with that more practically? But something that you said there is that mathematically the world cannot continue as it is. What I'm seeing right now, a couple of things I'm seeing that aren't changing, maybe for the better. You feel free to tell me that that's not true. But domestic liquidity potentially is bottoming out now.
Okay, so let's correct this motherfucker because he's clueless because he's not an economist. This is why I see things much differently than these guys. Okay, the Ponzi scheme is them printing the money, right? The world's changing, as I've said, from a world of paper money to a gold world, the paper universe to the gold universe. That's all that's happening. How do you get out of it? How do you succeed? With gold. Now, he mentioned that the gold price can be manipulated. Yes, it's being manipulated for the last 50 years, but it's over because Putin and China are saying we need to go on the gold standard, which will pump the gold price up, and the U.S. will be forced to get out of the paper into the gold system. So if you have gold, you're going to be fine because the value of your gold is going to jump up tremendously from this $2,000 manipulated price to $40,000, $50,000 an ounce. Then it goes out where it won't even be priced in dollars, it'll be priced in gold. But he can't understand that. He says, well, the government wants to keep the gold price down. Well, they can't. You can't do it. You've been doing it, but it's over because the derivative paper gold, and that's why I said he's an idiot. He's talking paper gold. The paper gold can't go on because of and Putin wanting a gold-backed currency because they realize the paper's going out, so they need a gold-backed currency, which then makes gold worth 100 times more than it's worth, and that's your winners. We'll be the winners because our gold will go from 2,000 to 50, we'll be able to buy things and we'll be able to live and survive and make a ton of money on our gold. They can't keep the gold price down. Now they can manipulate Bitcoin, as Egon said. Egon made a comment about, well, they don't want Bitcoin to get too high. But people will go into gold and the gold price will go to the moon. If this guy thinks the gold price is going down, he has no idea what supply and demand Austrian economics are, which is my bitch about most of these guys. They do not know what Austrian economics is. If they came into our class, or if they have the balls to show themselves, which they don't, they take my ideas and they use them as their own. Oh, it's the Titanic, or it's a Ponzi scheme. They don't even know what it means. The Ponzi scheme is because they keep printing the money and they don't give us anything for it. That's the Ponzi scheme. They print the money. He uses the word but doesn't know what it means. So I got really upset when I watched, because I don't normally watch this guy. I think he's a joke. He doesn't know what he's talking about, but he needs no introduction. Yeah, because everybody falls for his bullshit and thinks that he knows what he's talking about, and he doesn't. Gold will not go down. It'll go up. It has to go up because the dollar's collapsing. It's the only asset that is money and will have to go up, and everybody will flood from the Titanic into the gold world, forcing the price up. The Fed can't, as the dollar collapses, which he doesn't understand either, as the dollar goes out, how are they going to keep gold down? At what point is this idiot have any brains in his head? How is gold going to be kept down? How are they going to do derivatives? They don't have any money. I mean, we're going to keep printing. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to listen. And it's all going to be BRICS and Russia who raise the gold price because they're going to sit there when the dollar collapses, and then they're going to have gold go to the moon. The government is doing what they can, and it's still almost 2,100. Today was about even. Let's see. Gold price. It's 3:00. And it's up $10 to 2063. So I thought the government was trying to keep the price down. Well, wait a minute. It's up $10 to 2063. This is paper. The government trying to keep it down, they can't. So at the end of the day, it's Chevy Chase and Vegas Vacation with his finger in the dikes, and the water comes out and he can't do anything, and the water starts seeping out of the walls. And that's just, it's one thing to say they're going to try to keep the price down. It's another thing to actually keep the price down. They won't be able to because the demand will far outpace it, as in the Titanic. There's two things. When you hit the iceberg, everybody thinks we're not going to sink. Then they realize we're going to sink, but they don't know when. The dollar hit the iceberg, and so we know the dollar's collapsing. We just don't know when. So everybody, when, and we don't really know. And that's really the whole point of it. We don't know when it's going to collapse, but we know it will. And we know the only safe place is gold. Now, why he doesn't think gold's going to save you is beyond me. Oh, everybody's going to lose. Not the people in gold. Because you have an asset, the value of the asset goes up when the value of the paper drops. It's not like the value of the paper drops, so we'll drop all the assets. You can't control that. Just like this, going to buy Doritos or Fritos at the grocery store. It's $5 a bag now. Well, they can't push the price down. The market controls if the price stays at 5 or goes back to 2. It's all the market. Same thing with gold. It'll be all the market once we get to the physical market. So they can do what they want and try to keep the price down with the paper, but the paper will blow up because it needs physical, and the demand will be too strong that they will even be able to try to keep it down, and nobody's going to take them serious, and everybody's going to go with bricks, and eventually there'll be a physical price, and that's the end of it. So you can say you can do it, but this is where competition comes in with BRICS and Russia saying we need a higher gold price. We're going to get one. And that's exactly what will happen. So I don't fully understand. He's not an economist, and he just showed it right there. He just showed his hand. Now I won't watch that. I don't like this guy because I already know. I saw him on Mark McGuire's show, and he doesn't know anything. He's a salesman, and he sells gold, so he doesn't really understand the economics. I can get it and explain it to you in an economic fashion, supply, demand, and free markets. He can't do that because he doesn't understand it. That's why I warn you about listening to some of these guys. But he had the same thing as Mark McGuire, I think, and so they used the same background. And I was just, this was a day or two ago. Let me see what it is. And the first 30 seconds, I knew he was an idiot. I mean, but I knew he was an idiot from Mark McGuire. So I really don't want to, like, if I see Maloney or Rickards, I just delete them, and I don't want anything to do with them because it's just going to frustrate me. As stoic as I can be, it's going to frustrate me. So as I said, the best example of inflation is your 100,000 in the bank account. And I did this yesterday. So you got 100 grand in the bank account. What they don't tell you, it's only worth 80 grand now. And it's going down to 60 grand. And it's going to zero. So you think you have 100 grand in the bank. It says you have 100 grand in the bank, but that's not the real value of the 100 grand anymore. The real value of the 100 grand is right now it's 1% of it. So 1% of 100 is $1. So it's worth like $100. So your 100 grand in 71 is worth $100. Your 100 grand as of a few years ago is probably worth 30,000 or so. And that's the scary part. You think you have the money, but you don't. That's the Ponzi scheme that this idiot can't explain, is they're taking your money and printing it because he doesn't understand what inflation is. You can't explain it. So they're taking your money and printing your money, and your 100 grand loses all its value. But they won't. Again, that's the Ponzi scheme. They print the money and your money's worthless. Ponzi scheme, Madoff. But you don't care. Like in the Madoff Ponzi scheme, hell, if this guy's going to give me 15% for I give him 100 grand, he gives me 15% every month or, every year, but, divided by 12. If as long as I'm getting that, I don't care how he gets the money. Do I really care I'm in a Ponzi scheme? No, as long as he keeps paying off and everybody's in it, my friends, my family's in it, and they keep saying he pays me all the time. What do I care? What was illegal about it? I really don't know. As long as if he didn't pay the people off, I would see that's illegal. But I'm struggling to find out what he did that was illegal. Oh, he didn't invest the money. So what? I mean, really? He took the money. So Bobby gives me 100 and I give it to Alex. And Alex gets his $20. Does Alex really care where I got the money from? All Alex cares about is he got his $20. Did I do anything illegal? Not necessarily. Bobby gave me money and I gave it to, it's the same thing now. I get, Alex pays me $100 for my picks and I give $50 to Daria to help her so she can buy groceries. Is that a Ponzi scheme? I give Alex picks. Maybe that makes it not a Ponzi scheme, but I'm giving Daria money from Alex. Does that matter that he bought picks or not? I don't know. Do I have to buy something? Do I have to make a bet on a stock and it has to go up for me to then pay off somebody to make it legal? I don't know. That's a good one, but basically nobody give a fuck. If I got my 15% from Madoff, do I really care how he gives it to me? Not at all. Not at all. It's the same thing. Social Security, I get $2,400 a month. Do I really care where it comes from? The fact that they print the money and give it to me, do I care? Oh, there's a check for $2,400 in my bank every second Monday of the month. That's all I care about. That's it. That's all I care about. Oh, okay. Here's a check. Fine. And that's the irony of the whole thing. All the government does is just print money and give it to you. How is that different than a Madoff, than a Ponzi scheme? But this guy doesn't get it. This hauler doesn't even understand what the Ponzi scheme is. It's them printing money and giving it to you as the Ponzi scheme. He doesn't understand that. Okay, Bill, now that you're listening to my show, now you can maybe explain it, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So with that said, all they're doing is printing the money and making your money worthless, worth zero. So your 100 grand in the bank's going to be worth zero. So the world as we know it is in money. And what'll happen is one of two things. One, they come out with new money and they said, based on Putin, and now we're going to use the new money and life goes on. Or two, they come out with gold-backed currency. So we use that currency to go to the grocery store and pay our bills and get paid. Either way, nothing changes. All that's going to change is you're going from a dollar world where the dollar's collapsing to a gold world. It's not a change. Nothing happens. If you don't have gold, you're fucked, but if you have gold, you're fine. So I don't know why he says nobody wins. People with gold win, because the value of their gold will go to the moon. There's nothing that the government can do to stop it. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Well, the government can control the price. No, they can't. They're trying to, and they can't. And they won't be able to keep doing it once COMEX blows up. So he doesn't understand COMEX. He doesn't understand gold. Gold will always have a value. If we need to go to Switzerland, we go to Switzerland. But gold will always have a value, and it's going up and up and up, and it'll keep going up and up and up because the demand's going to force it to. And all the central banks have it. They're going to want a higher dollar or a higher gold value. So the U.S. is holding on because they don't want you in the dollar. But when the dollar goes to zero, what choice do they have? So when this goes to nothing, this is at 1% now. When this goes to nothing, what's the government going to do to prevent the gold price to go up? Because they want it to stay down. They're going to just keep it down because they want it to stay down. Don't kid yourself. They don't have that kind of power or control. And because we win because of Putin and China, they want the gold price to go up, and they're a little bit bigger and stronger than what's left of the U.S. Ask the Romans, right? The Romans went under because they didn't have any more gold. So as strong as the Roman Empire was, look how easy they collapsed. That's the same thing here. This guy doesn't think they'll collapse. We'll live in a different world. We'll live in the same world. We'll just use a different currency. We won't use paper dollars. And how it got there is George Soros, which he doesn't even understand that. It went on to George Soros, who put in, through fake elections, these guys who would just go and print the money because they wanted the collapse as a revenge game for the Nazis, losing. That's all that's happened is you've got people that just come in and print. That's what's happened. It's not that hard to figure out or understand. And it's all over the world. Nobody's got gold-backed currency. Why not? Saddam Hussein tried it and he got killed. I'm surprised. I thought Zimbabwe was going with it. They do have a gold coin, but so do we. We have a gold coin, but that's what's going to save us. Your gold's going to save you. You're not going to be the way he's making the end of the world. It's because he doesn't know. He doesn't understand it. He wants to get the headline. He wants to look at me. I don't need an introduction. I'm not right, but I don't need an introduction. So he steals half my shit between Titanic and Ponzi scheme, but he doesn't know. He can't explain it. He doesn't know what it is. And it won't be, all it'll be is a switch from the paper world to the gold world. That's all it is. That's why you own gold. And again, even he is proposing, buy gold, buy gold. Well, he does a little bit, but why isn't he saying, well, the guys with gold will make out, but he doesn't say that. So he's in on it too. He's also a Keynesian. And it's a shame that he doesn't, he tries to come off as somebody who knows. He doesn't know anything. That's the problem with the U.S. guys. They don't know anything, and they'll talk a game that people don't really understand, that they really can't explain. He can't explain Ponzi scheme. He can't explain Titanic. He can't explain the world will change. Of course, it's going to change, and I've explained it. You're going from a dollar world universe to a gold universe. That's all that's going to happen. And we'll use gold to transact as we use dollars. And if you don't have gold, you'll get it. Eventually, you'll start getting paid in gold back dollars instead of this dollars. That's all. It'll be the same economy. But if I have gold now at 2,000 an ounce, it goes up to 50. So I benefit from having the gold at these low prices as the gold goes up. And this guy can't see it, then why is he even talking about these shows? He's just a fucking idiot as far as I'm concerned. So I don't like when you don't want to give me credit for basically your dialogue. You're stealing from me, but you won't give me credit. So don't like that. But if you don't think gold's going to go up, you're out of your fucking mind. Montana's 125,000 for his rookie. Like, you don't think gold's going there? Really? Okay. Good luck, fella. So anyway, I just want to get that out there. So again, think of it like you've got 100, 200,000 in your bank account. You think you have that the 200 grand is worth 200. Let's say 200 grand. You think the 200 grand is worth 200 grand. That's the Ponzi scheme part of it. You think you still have that money and it's still worth it, but it isn't. It's not worth 200 grand unless you just put it in now. If you put it in 5-10 years ago, it's lucky if it's worth half of that. So let's say you put it in the year 2000, you put in 200, 300 grand in your account. It's probably worth 10 grand right now. If you put it in last year, it's probably worth half of that. So you put in 200 grand, it's probably worth 100 grand now. Inflation is simply devaluing the money. You're ruining the value of the money by inflating the supply of it. That's inflation, inflating the supply of money. You've inflated it. How many of these do you think there are? They won't tell you that. There's probably 1 billion of these $5 euro notes. So if there's so many, the value of the note's zero. You can buy a cup of coffee in Barcelona with $5. That's the value of your money. But people don't understand. Oh, the damn coffee. Why is it so expensive? Why are they raising? They're not. It's the dollar that has no value. So the only way out is gold, because gold will not lose its value. You can't lose it. The government can't say gold's worth $50. They can't do that, or they would have. And believe me, you're seeing it almost at 2,100. And that's paper, and that's thanks to the derivatives. And the physical gold is worth 10 times that. So again, these ETF guys and these stock guys are way off. The stocks, according to Egon, it's going to take years to get back. So to answer Luke's question, you want to stay in the stocks, it's going to get crushed and it's going to take years to get back. Where if you just own the coins, you're fine. You can't lose. There's no way the value of the gold coin is going down. Not it might go down in derivative paper, but not in physical. And that's our game, is the physical. And we're waiting for Russia, China to get a physical price for us. That's what we want. And that's what we're waiting for. And that's why we just say, be patient. You'll get it. And that's what we want. So anyway, that's that. So what else? I was in the pool and I came to a stoic moment about trust. And I said, I have my stuff in my gym bag, my phone and my keys, my wallet I leave in my car, but it's buried with my shoes and my clothes, right? I put in this little duffel bag like a carry-on at the airport. So some lady sits down pretty close to my bag. I don't know why. The whole thing's open. There's like 5 benches. She decides to sit 3 feet from my bag. So I'm watching her like a hawk. And then I thought about it, and it's a trust issue. Who do we trust and how do we trust? And the biggest problem I have is when we trust somebody in the beginning, can you keep trusting them? And that's the real hard part, right? So the lady didn't take my bag. Now I don't trust her. She just didn't take my bag. But how do we trust somebody? So how do you trust me? Well, one, I try to help you out, and I'm pretty accurate with my football, and I tell you things that make sense and that come true. So you go, yeah, what he says is accurate. He teaches it well. He seems to know what he's doing. He's honest. I guess I can trust him. And I go back to my Toyota guy where I tell him to get out of Bitcoin and buy gold, and he tells his wife, and the wife says no. She doesn't know who I am. And then the guy who owns the store is buying gold. And then the wife says, okay, we can buy gold because he's buying it. And then my guy says, well, Howard said that too. So he doesn't trust me. But then what I said was true. So now maybe he trusts me more. But the wife trusts the guy she knows, but not me. And that's the whole dichotomy of what the fuck. How do we trust anybody? I mean, it's a real strange phenomenon. So let's say this lady at swim didn't steal my bag, and she's there tomorrow. She doesn't steal my bag. Do I trust her? Maybe in 3 weeks she steals my bag. You never know. I mean, that's the problem. That's the problem with relationships, right? You date a girl, do you trust her, or a guy? And do you trust them? And they seem okay. They don't steal from you until they steal from you. And they gain your confidence. And that's what these confidence schemes are. Look at Madoff. Everybody trusted Madoff until he didn't have any more money. And then everybody hated him. But you trusted him for years. For 10, 20 years, he was giving you money. So you trusted him, even though you didn't know how he got the money. And you didn't care as long as he kept giving you the money. I trust him. And that's really, I think the only thing you can do is trust yourself. So you can learn about gold, and I can tell you, look, gold, you can't inflate it. You can't print it. It's always going to have a good value. The dollars get printed. They inflate the dollars. They lose their value. That's what's happening. So you can educate yourself. So now you don't have to listen to anybody. You know now. So I could give you Adam Smith, or I could give you these other, what's the big monetary von Mises or whatever, and you could read them, and then maybe you trust, but you learn. And so now you know gold's the answer. You know what inflation is. You can disagree with people about it being prices. You know you inflated the supply, which makes it worthless. You know all that stuff now. So now you don't have to trust anybody to tell you it. You understand it. And I really think that's the best way to do it. You take what I tell you and you make sure you understand it. And then you make sure it makes sense to you. So when I get people giving me with the football, and they give me, well, maybe on the 3rd Sunday of the month, the team in yellow wins. I said, what the fuck? Get that out of here. That doesn't make any sense to me, because I know it inside and out for 40 years, right? So you got to do a lot to fool me. You're not going to. So that's what you need to do. If you learn the gold, you don't need to trust anybody. So I teach you the gold, which is what I'm doing, and teaching you the economics and teaching you the football, what to look for. And then you do it, and then you go, okay, yeah, Howard was right. Look, I did this, and I got the right, and I'm not right all the time, and I don't claim to be. I'm right about gold because it's not a guess. It's not a prediction. It's what will happen, and it's what's always happened in the history of life. The dollar is always gone to zero. The whatever they printed is always gone to zero. So I think the trust factor, so there's two type of trust. What if you learn it, you know it, and if you know it, you don't have to trust anybody. You know that the dollar's going to zero and gold's my out. You know it. You know gold will go up because it's paper gold. You're waiting for physical gold, so that you know. How do you trust the girlfriend, boyfriend, the person next to your bag? Now, that's a little different animal, because you're not learning them. You're only going, well, let's see. She came over, didn't steal anything the first day, didn't steal anything the 10th day. At what point do you trust that she won't steal from you? And that's the real hard part. You've got to test it. So what I've done is, with the girl, I'll leave a couple $100 sitting there. I'll leave my wallet there. And then I go take a shower and I come back and the money's still there and the wallet's still there. And I go, okay, I can start to trust. But it's a real hard thing because you trust the wrong person and you're going to get stolen blind. And, it's very difficult. So it's a very hard quandary, almost where you just don't trust anybody. I'm not going to leave my money out and I will take it into the shower with me. So you don't expose your passwords or anything like that. I think that's really the only way you can do it. I don't know how to trust somebody. You give them tests and see if they pass it so you can trust them a little bit. But then it's how much do I want to trust them? Do I want to leave my gold out and then my gold's gone? Oh, shit, she took it. I trusted her. No, I don't ever want to leave my gold out. Now, I might leave an ounce of gold out and test her and see if she steals it. And if she doesn't, then I can trust her a little bit more, or ask her about other things. And then she says, oh, no, I never would steal. And you watch the way she answers, like in poker. So maybe you have that, but a lot of people will fool you. So you must be careful with that. Be careful who and how much you trust them, because this is why a lot of problems come up with your friends or divorces or things like that. You trusted the person and they weren't what they appeared to be, but they played the game long enough that you thought they were like that, and then they weren't. So anyway, I just got that from the pool where I left my bags out there, and I'm like, is this woman going to steal my bag? Why is she sitting 2 feet away from it when there's a whole fucking bench open? So I keep a good eye on it. But anyway, I just thought it was some stoic thing to bring up, that a trust issue. Why do we trust our doctor? Well, he explains, don't eat sugar and your blood pressure goes down and you want to have a stroke and you want to have cancer and you want to have heart problems. And it seems to work. So you're like, oh, he said it, I tried it, it worked. If he says something and I try it and it doesn't work, then I don't trust him. So it all depends how much you know. Now that I know fasting, if somebody says, oh, no, it's not fasting, I just walk away from going, no, it is fasting. I know it. I do it. And I'm healthy because I fasted and I don't eat the sugar and the carbs. Because I don't and it works, then I trust the guy. So it's a lot of what he says. So if I'm telling you to buy gold and you buy gold and it all goes up to 20,000 an ounce, everybody trusts me. Yeah, he knows what he's talking about. So there's two different types of situations that we have. But this is why I get so, like, I see this Bill Halter guy, and you guys can watch him and you wouldn't know that what he said, he's wrong, or he doesn't know. But I can pick apart all those guys because of my background. You get a master's in Austrian economics, you can smell all this shit out. And so what I'm trying to teach you is the master's part of it, that you'll know it. And then when you watch him and he says, there's nothing you can do, you go, well, what about gold? Or you talk to your financial advisor or stockbroker and you say, well, okay, I got this money. What do I do with it? Well, buy stocks and bonds. You go, well, how about gold? Oh, you don't want to be in gold. And then you get up and leave because you know he's full of shit. So that's how you can trust somebody with that part of it. But you wouldn't even have to. You would just go out and buy gold and silver, not even talk to a financial advisor and get it out. But that's the biggest thing. If you got $300,000-400,000 grand in the bank and you're ready to retire, you put it in gold and then you can retire very happily, very easily. It will skyrocket. I don't care what this guy says. The government could keep the price low. Oh, the monkeys could go to the moon too. But so how will the government keep it down? Well, they'll keep doing derivatives. Well, that can't last because now they got to be backed by, they've changed the rules. The derivatives must be backed by gold. And China and Russia want the gold price up. They have all this gold. Russia didn't get 35,000 tons of gold for it to not go up. That it'll be worth 2,000. That's not what Russia's buying it for. That's not what China's buying it for. China's bought 60,000 tons of gold for it to go up. They want to make money on it, and they also don't want to lose. But it's more about, okay, now let's get the gold price up. And so Russia, China will break that. So the government wants to keep it low. Okay, Mr. Cowboy, how? But he won't get into the how. So he makes a statement of they'll try to keep the gold price without backing it up with the realization they can't, without bringing up BRICS, without understanding anything to do with Russia, China. He talks but doesn't understand. Therefore, the guy's basically useless. You don't understand that you don't know this stuff. So you make it sound like you do, but you really don't. And that's where I pick you apart and blow you up. Just like the Ponzi scheme and just like the Titanic, you don't know what you've heard me say it. So you know what the Titanic is, but you don't know how to explain it because you don't understand it. But you just heard it. And that's what he does. So he takes terms that he's heard, can't back it up. He can't say, oh, the Titanic. Well, I can explain it. See, if I tell you something, I explain it so you understand it. That's the goal of me here teaching. It's so you understand what I'm saying, and then you understand it. My goal is that you understand it. When I give you the free pick of Dallas, Miami, it was so you understood why you're betting Dallas, and then you made money on it because Dallas covered, getting 8 and a teaser, 7.5. That's the beauty of it, is that when I'm done with you, you understand why. And that's why gold will go up, is the dollar will go to zero, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. It's already in motion. So it's already hit the iceberg. So the dollar goes to zero. Of course, gold's going to go up because everybody's going to go, where do I go from here? And they're all going to, if they have dollars, they're going to go into gold. So as the ship's sinking, they're getting off. And the only thing is the gold boat. So they start buying gold. And at 2,000 until, you know what, there isn't any more, but there's still more buyers. The demand is huge. So because it's at 2,000, the demand now forces it up to 5,000. Then you get away from derivative gold because all these guys are losing their ass trying to short gold to the fact, and it goes and it runs. And now it's 20,000 an ounce. That's what we're waiting for, and we're very close to it. I think it'll happen very soon. Once we get into 24, I'd say let's say by the first quarter. I think be quicker, but let's say by March, it'll be a birthday present for me. All of a sudden, I'll meet Daria and we'll have $30,000 an ounce gold, not 2,000 an ounce gold. The 2,000 is an arbitrary number. It's not the real price of gold, number one. All we're asking for is the real price. When I say 50,000, that's the real price of gold if you got rid of the derivatives. If you just hey, we only have 250,000 tons. We've got a million ton demand, so the price should be much, much higher. That's all I'm asking for, is give me the free market price of gold, not the derivative price. But there's no fucking way the price of gold is 2,000. But does this guy get that? No, he doesn't get that at all. And the government has a way of keeping it down. They don't have a way of keeping it down because it's the whole world. It's Russia, China, BRICS, India, Argentina. It's the whole world wanting gold to go up, not the U.S. So the U.S. can't contain or control the price of gold in the world. They can try to do it in the U.S., but we can go to Switzerland and get 50,000 for it. Why? So in the U.S., it's not worth they try to keep the price down, but not what. Well, once the U.S. collapses, nobody's going to listen to the U.S. Nobody's going to listen to the derivative price. So that's really the key to it. Is people, because it's not a U.S. only. That's our key. That's how we make our money. We're doing it to survive as well as make money on it. This is what Haller, again, doesn't get. Oh, nobody will win. It's just people won't lose as much. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Does he understand the market and the economy? No. How does that work? Well, you need a medium of exchange, which right now is this. And this is being printed to zero. So you'll have a new medium of exchange, which will be gold. So nothing changes. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with these idiots. You just won't use this anymore to go into the market. You'll use something backed by gold, which is what the BRICS and the Russians and everybody else will start coming out with. The European will start doing it too, the EU. And then everybody will have gold-backed currency. It's not what George Soros wants, but he'll be dead soon, and we'll at least be free of that Nazi. That's the whole key to it. Once it's just switching the medium of exchange from paper to gold. That's all it is. There's enough gold at the higher price to have that system work. It's the only system that works because you can't print the fucking dollars. So all we're trying to do is get off the boat soundly, and the way you get off the boat is by having gold. So the Titanic sinking, if you have a lifeboat, you're going to be fine. So I'm sure life's changed for the people in the Titanic, but you know what? If they were on a lifeboat, they got off and they got onto the other boat. Not a big deal. That's all that happened. Yes, your boat's sinking. And that's what's happening. The boat's sinking, but if we're in gold, we're in the gold boat. Everything will be fine for us because we're protecting ourselves with gold. Why doesn't this guy get that? I don't know. I'd love to debate any of these idiots. I'd kill them. I'd clean their clocks. But that's, they don't know who I am and I know who they are. So I don't really care. And all I can do is do my class here and tell them to go fuck themselves. So they don't know what they're doing, but they're all salesmen. And I was a stockbroker and Mark McGuire worked at a bank. Yeah, okay, but none of you are economists. You don't understand the way the system works. So really, it's just the medium of exchange, which is just basically they used to use tulips. They now use money. They used to be in the Roman days. And I'm sure the people in Rome never thought their system would crash. Their system crashed because they took the gold and silver out of the coins. But that was their medium of exchange, was the gold coins and silver coins. And that's how they got paid, and that's how they bought stuff. And nothing's changed. So I don't know what this guy's talking about, but that's what's going to happen. Instead of using this paper bullshit to eat and to trade, it's all free trade, right? I'm going and I'm buying my Canadian Cloud 12. I go to the grocery store and I take something, in this case, money, and I use it, or I take my debit card and I buy it. So I'm switching money for this. And that won't go away. The money will be different because it'll be backed by gold. I forgot I had coffee. The money will be different. It won't be this. It won't be a €5. It'll be a €5 backed by gold. And the only difference is the governments, as corrupt as they are, because George Soros put them all in with fake elections, the difference will be that now they can't print everything. And really what it hurts is the defense contractors, because I don't have money, so how are you going to get paid for bazookas and tanks and everything, which are really expensive? That's why you need wars, and that's why you need the fiat currency, so there's no cap on printing them. That's what this whole thing's about. They want to spend a lot of money, but they can't in the gold system, so they will do it in the money system until they fuck it all up, which is what they're doing. They're printing and printing and printing, and it's all fucked up. And then you get this huge debt. It's all fucked up. And all we're doing is saying, well, okay, you fucked up that system, but you know what saves us is gold, because you can't print the gold. If the gold comes out of the ground, there's only so much. As people learn about the fiat money being worthless, they look around and they go, well, what can I get into? And the only answer is gold. Now, some will get into Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's clearly not an answer. It's a payment system. And there's nothing that you can do. Gold is much better. You own it in your hand. They can't print it. Who knows how much Bitcoin there really is? And if they can print more and more and more, you have no idea. It says 21 million, but that's just, could be 50 million, could be a million, it could be a billion. You have no idea. But you don't want to trust it because it's all mafia. I mean, I don't want to be in that system. So how does that price go? We don't know. But you can get into it, but it's priced in dollars, and take the dollars out of Bitcoin. What do you have? Nothing. Take the dollars out of gold, and what do you have? Gold, which is money, which is going to be worth a fortune. So not sure how this guy even gets on the videos, how he needs no introduction, and again, people trust him because he says stuff but can't back it up. So people think he knows what he's talking about, because most people have no clue what he's talking about, and they can't, it's over their heads. So if I'm in the hot tub and I start talking gold, it's all over their heads. They don't want to talk about it. That's why they don't want to talk to me, because if I say the square root of 11, I can't talk to this guy. I don't know what it is. Let's just talk about the weather. Hey, it's a sunny day out. That's what most people's mentality is. They can't comprehend it, and they don't even want to. I'm too tired. I don't want to try. So this is the problem. Oh, I don't want to pull my money out of the bank and then have to go buy gold. Oh my, look at the effort I have to do to go from the bank to the coin store to buy gold. Oh my God, it's too much for me. It's better if I go broke than if I go to the coin store. I love that. So that's really what it is. It's all Austrian economics. It's clearly supply and demand. It's clearly, with money, it must be sound money, and you've got to keep it limited. You can't have 10 trillion printed dollars and think they're going to hold their value. And that's why we're on the fiat system, so they can keep printing and printing and printing. And the people who get the money think they have a lot of money. And people with $1 million think that, okay, so you have $1 million in the bank, and 10 years later, you still think you have $1 million in the bank. You don't realize you got 100,000 in there, because it won't buy anything. And as you print, nothing gets more expensive. The value, the dollar value goes down. So it can't buy as much. And that's purely all it is. The money in your bank is, you're being made off. You're being Ponzi schemed. That's the Ponzi scheme there, Holler. You're being Ponzi schemed because you think your $1 million is still worth $1 million. That's the Ponzi scheme. And it isn't. It's not worth anything. That's what the Ponzi scheme is. You can't just keep printing it and have no effect on it. That's why you get into gold, because they can't print it, so therefore you can't lose value on it. And they can paper it what they want, but in reality term, the physical gold is worth more and more and more, and it'll eventually explode. And that's what we're all waiting for. The government can't do anything to keep it down. They're trying to with the derivatives, but eventually that's not going to work. And it won't work because of Russia, China. So now we have the answer why it won't work, because the Russians and Chinese want to come out with a gold-backed currency, and they can't do it at 2,000 an ounce. And the Russians and the Saudis want to get gold for oil. And of course, they want to dig out the oil. They want to get paid more for it. So there's a lot of stuff that's why you buy the gold. But again, you've got to be careful. It's a trust issue. Who do you trust? The more you learn, the more I can teach you, and the more you can understand, then you don't need to trust anybody. You know it. You know about gold. You shouldn't have to listen to anybody about gold. Maybe ask me a question, but you know all about it. I've gone through it several times on purpose, so you know it, and whoever knew is coming. And then once you know it, you're like, oh, fuck, I know. No, this holy guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Of course, gold will save me when the dollar collapses, but he doesn't even know the dollar's collapsing. The world will change. The world won't change at all. It'll just go from dollars to gold-backed dollars. That's all that's going to happen. You're still going to have, because it's the system. The system's set up where you get paid, and so they got to give you something, and then you go to the grocery store to buy food and pay your rent and pay your utilities. It's all going to be the same thing, right? It's the system that's set up that the money you make for your skill set. So you've got your skill, they pay you for your skill, and you take that money and you pay your rent and you buy your food and you pay your bills and you have something left over to go buy gold with. I mean, that's the thing. That's the system, and that won't go away. Instead of dollars, you'll use dollars backed by gold instead of dollars backed by nothing. That's the only thing that'll change. Big deal. That's the way it should have been, and it shouldn't have been interrupted in 71. The fact it should go back. That's when we're the best country in the world was 1819 to 1913. So for that 100 years, when we're on the gold standard, we went up dramatically in productivity and value. So the people's value went up. Then we decided to go central bank because we got now so rich that they go central bank, and the central banks just steal from us and they tax us. We should not be paying tax. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as income. You're getting paid because you mowed the lawn. How is that income? He could give you 100 oranges. Is that income? No. So really, that's the key to it is not to get the thing for it. You don't want you're basically trading your skill and they're giving you money because they don't know what else to give you. That is not income, and you shouldn't be paying tax on it. The whole thing is just just bullshit communism at its best, so they can control us. Why they want to control us is not the idea of government. So somewhere along the line, somebody made a left turn here and got us into this taxing and inflation and printing the money, and the government's supposed to control everybody, and we're going to do digital. I was talking to my friend yesterday, and he still thinks it's digital dollars. And I keep saying it will never happen because the banks will not want to give up their power to the central bank. So the Chase and the JP Morgan and the Wells Fargo are not going to go out of business. They're going to not want digital dollars. I think what'll happen is there'll be these new passports or driver's license that you need codes on or something, and they'll just. I know my driver's license when I renewed it, they said, "Well, you need this to travel unless you have a passport," and I already had the passport, so I didn't take the digital driver's license. I used my passport. So I think next year to go to Europe. I'm not sure about Asia too. You need a $5 visa or passport, or like a European passport or visa to travel there. You'll have to have it, but it's like $5. It'll be easy to get, but they want to track you. I don't give a shit. I go meet Daria or Jenna in Germany or Barcelona. I don't care. I'm not breaking the law. I'm meeting my friend. What are you talking about? So the question comes up, what do I do with Jenna? I showed Jenna, I bought the 1/10 of an ounce golds. And I said, well, this is my Christmas present from you since you didn't get me one and I got you perfume. And nobody gets me a Christmas present. So I'm saying, well, okay, I'll take this. Thank you very much. Now I was just being, I was like, okay, nobody's getting me a Christmas gift. I'll buy my own Christmas gift. And she starts going, oh, great. So instead of giving me the money, you took it for yourself and bought the coins. And I'm like, so what? Now you got to get stoic. It's my money. It's not your concern what I do with my money. I sent you some money for Christmas. I gave you money in Germany, and I gave you 2/4 ounce of gold, which is roughly $1,300. I gave you that in Berlin. So what the fuck are you talking about? And how dare you tell me what I can do with my own money? And this is where you get stoic, and this is where you are very close to saying goodbye, because why is this your concern what I do with my money? It's not our money. It's not your money. It's my money. And I buy gold with my money. Why is that your concern? I give you a little bit when we meet to protect you. But if you're that stupid and you don't understand that, I don't know what else, but don't tell me not to spend my money on my own Christmas gift. Where do you get off talking like that? So I'll have to see what I do, but being stoic, you can just say fuck off real easily. That's why I have competition, and that's why I have multiple girlfriends. I can tell her to fuck off, but if she was my girlfriend or my wife and that was it, oh my God, I'll be without her. If, I can't let her go because that's all I got, then you're really fucked. But if I have Daria and others, then she has no power over me. Okay, fuck you. And then, okay, and then you go on to the others. That's why you have others. So you're not in a monopoly. You got competition, and that's really what you want. So I don't know. She's been acting weird lately, but I don't know, and I don't care. I'm like, no. This isn't how I play. Carmen was like that, my Romanian one, and we'd go on a vacation, and she'd do whatever, and all she wanted was money. And if I said no, she'd get all upset. And I'm like, okay, fuck you. I don't need this. You're not my only girl. That's why you have multiple girlfriends. Otherwise, you're fucked. If you're with one girl and she starts acting like this, what are you going to do? You don't have a choice. You're going to sit there and go, oh, I can't lose her. I won't have anybody. Well, that's why I have. And it was nice. I did get a Merry Christmas from Irina, my friend who just had the baby in Romania, wished me a Merry Christmas. I hadn't heard from her from a month when I told her I'd come and meet see the baby and give her some gold. And said, well, my husband, I really can't meet you because of my husband. I can maybe sneak off and we could go into the park and I said, fuck you. What do you mean going to the park? What kind of crap is that? So I hadn't talked to her in a month, and she talked to me yesterday. So I responded. I was a good boy. And I don't know what to do with her, but I was happy that she responded. That means she really likes me. It wasn't just bullshit. So we will see, but that's part of the stoic game, right? This is why if you go to one restaurant and they close down, what do you do? Or that's why you have competition. That's the point of the competition. If something goes wrong, you have others. And that's why I'm not trying to hurt Jenna, but she's trying to hurt me, and I'm not going to stand for it. It was hard when I got divorced and I ran into that. I didn't have anybody. I was a good boy. I didn't have girlfriends on the side. So that's where I learned, well, I'm going to fuck that. Now on, I'm going to have 2-3 girlfriends, not to hurt anybody, but just in case this bullshit happens. They want to own you or control you. That's not going to happen. I'm like ready to say to Jenna, I'm stoic. So you can't even begin to understand and even try to get through me and hurt me at all. That's never going to happen. So anyway, just food for thought there, boys and girls, to always have that, if somebody tries to be kind of rude or controlling to you, you just tell them to fuck off. You don't take it. You're not there to be controlled. If they're supposed to appreciate you, right? So if Jenna should be thanking God that that I talk to her and I meet her and I help her out, but she's not doing that lately. She's more controlling, and I'm like, no, that's sorry, that won't happen, and I won't listen to it. You can't control me, and you're not going to try. So that's the thing with her. And you just go to the other one. Unless it's like a soulmate that you really can't live without, then it's a different story than I would do. But you would do anything for them. Where Jenna's getting a little bit, oh, you bought a gold coin instead of giving me money. I gave you money, didn't I? And I gave you gold when we met. What the fuck are you talking about? I can't buy myself 1/10 of an ounce gold. I says it was only $237 a piece, so it was $474 for 2/10 ounce. And I said I saved money on the brakes because the Toyota was $1,200. I got them for $4, so I went and bought 2/10 of an ounces of gold because I didn't like the silver the guy had. What is wrong with that picture? I don't get it. And then she needed money. I gave her money. So what? I should have given you another couple $100, and I shouldn't get myself a present for Christmas. What world are you living in, girl? I can't get myself any presents. I don't know where that's coming from, but I'm not going to listen to it. And that's why I have Daria. But I have feelings for Daria too. So it's different. But anyway, that's kind of how you do it. Fine, Jenna, I'll move on, and then I won't give you any more gold or money. I'll give it to Daria. It doesn't matter to me. I'm trying to protect. She's like, why isn't gold going up now? And, well, if you listen, it's going up soon, but you got to own it now and then let it go up. You can't. It doesn't work like you buy it today and tomorrow it's $20,000 an ounce. It won't go that quickly. It might go that quickly when it starts to run, but not now. All right. So anyway, little stoic for you. You be strong. You don't let people control you, take advantage of you, and you don't let people use you. And as soon as that's happening, no matter how pretty the girl or how whatever with the guy, you cut them off and say, no, you're not. She was starting to talk a little rude to me on the trip, and I'm like, I just stoiced her and I didn't respond to it, but I know what she was doing, and it's not going to happen. So she's near the end of her little gravy train here. Not that she's using me, but I'm still giving her money. She ain't working. Why don't you go to work? There's work in the Ukraine. You go to the bank, you go to the grocery store, you go to the gym. Apparently people are working. So don't give me that you're not working. So you should be working. Anyway, I think that's about it. So we're looking for gold. Gold is protection from them printing the money. And it's not like everybody's going to lose. No. People with gold will win because the value of the gold will go up. The government, while they are trying to keep it down, there's a difference between trying to keep it down and keeping it down. So in a football game, you're trying to stop Tom Brady, but you realize you can't stop him. And you're trying to stop gold from going up. But at the end of the day, you realize you can't stop gold from going up. It's going up, and then there's the BRICS and the Russians who wanted to go up. So now we got friends who also wanted to go up, not the U.S. government holding it down. They can't. They can try. We want it, but you had a war with Russia, and Russia kicked your ass, and now you're at war with Israel. And from what I saw yesterday, there could be a war with Venezuela and Gumby or whatever the name. There's a little country next to it, and they found all this oil in it. And so Colombia or Venezuela wants all the oil in this little country, Guyana, I think. And so they might go to war over the oil. Geez, another war about oil or money. So that could be another war for the U.S. But we will see. But I mean, this war in Russia is a joke. Russia's won by a landslide, and the U.S. just won't admit it. So if they don't say it's over, they didn't lose. I mean, that's where they're at. So I just have to meet Daria in Turkey instead of meeting her in St. Petersburg. No big deal. We'll find a way. We'll figure it out. Anyway, so what else? Let's get ready for the new year. Get ready. They're going to try more control on us. This digital passport or that, but I would not worry in the U.S. about digital currency. It will never happen. The banks will control it and not let it out of their hands. Problem is, a lot of the banks will go under. So keep in mind, the money in the bank's worth a lot less than you think it is. Even though it still says 100,000, it's like $100 bill. You go grocery shopping and it doesn't buy you anything. So 100,000 in the bank is not 100,000, but 100,000 if you move it to gold, it doesn't change, right? It's still 100,000. It's not now worth 50,000. Gold doesn't do that. Gold, 100,000 in gold goes up, not down. That's why I use the attack on Wall Street guy. The attack on Wall Street guy has 60,000. He buys 60,000 in gold. Then he needs the money. It's going to be worth 80,000. It's not going to be worth zero, as in the real estate trust. So that's really what you're trying to do, is prevent that zero, right? So if you got 100 grand in the bank, you're trying to prevent it from going to zero, which is where it's headed. And that you've got to be smart enough, and then you just buy gold. There's no difference. If you need money, you go to the coin store and you go, I got an ounce of gold, give me my $2,000 for it. And in 5 seconds, he'll give you the 2,000, and off you go. Now you got 2,000 again. It's very liquid. It never loses its value. It's just the COMEX derivative bullshit where the value even moves. But in the reality of the physical universe, the gold never goes down, because the only way it can go down is if you don't have demand. But you've got so much demand between Russia and China and India and all the central banks buying the gold bars that the demand's huge. So you never have no demand. So therefore, the price never goes down. It always goes up. So keep that in mind. It's worth a lot more than you think it is because of the derivative paper bullshit that COMEX is trying, and you just ignore it. And you know it's worth a lot more, and you just wait for that. So you know it's coming. You just wait for it. But it's, you know, this is going to zero and it's almost there. So you want to be sitting there and, oh, my money's worthless. I can't get into the bank. I take the money from the bank, but it's worthless. What do you mean it takes 10 grand to buy a gallon of milk? So that's really what you're trying to avoid. And then to say, well, there's no, everybody loses is just an idiot who doesn't know what he's talking about. People with gold, it's not that we win. We won't lose. We will. It'll go up in value, and gold will buy a lot more. Gold will buy a house. This is the point the guy doesn't understand, is the dollar universe goes away, and then here comes the gold universe. They don't understand that. They think with the dollar universe goes away, then everything collapses. In dollars, but not in gold. The gold universe is now, way up there. Oh, I want to buy a house. Here's an ounce of gold. Let me buy the house. Oh, you got money? Oh, okay. Because there's nothing else worth anything. All the paper's worthless. And so I'll take the ounce of gold, which makes the value go up, because the demand for the gold will be so high, forces the value of it up. But even so, it's the dollar is, you got to get out of the dollar. That's really the key to it. That makes you go down to zero and you're fucked. So anyway, so that's what's happening. Couple of games of football, a couple of ball games, and we will. So we've gone through like the NFL teams that need it, and we'll just go through the injuries now. But it's a little early. It's actually it's Tuesday, so you got to keep an eye. It's so fucked up because now we got the Thursday night game, and then you get Saturday. There's the Lions Dallas. At least it's one game Saturday, and then you got Sunday, and then I don't think there's a Monday night game because of New Year's. I think it would be the New Year's is Monday, so they're not going to have a Monday night game. But right now, it's the motivation who wants to get into the playoffs. And what you got to understand is you want a competitive world where you have options. And the problem with the dollar, you have no options. The only option is gold. And don't fuck with Bitcoin, because when the dollar goes out, gold will have value. Bitcoin won't, because Bitcoin's priced in dollars. What is a Bitcoin? Nobody knows. It's, I think it's about the same as the Mahomes card, right? Bitcoin, the Mahomes card, I think they're the same, but they're not gold. So I would just assume get into a Mahomes card or a Mantle card than Bitcoin, right? So let's do that. Anyway, I think that's about it. I wanted to hit. Let's end up with the trust issue. So again, how do you trust somebody? How do you know they're not playing you? I guess you just leave tests. Leave $20 and see if they pick it up, or leave your wallet and pick it up, and see if they ask about you. How's your day, professor? She seems to care about me. And I think that part of it is, do they care about you, or do they only care when they need money? Like Carmen, when she needed money, oh, hi, how are you? I need money for this, that, or the other. And then you'd give her money, let's say, here's $100. And then she wouldn't talk to you for 2 weeks until she needed money again. Well, that's a girl who doesn't care about you. Where Daria, I just, if I send her money for Christmas, or thank you, and, we have a nice conversation. So I think that's the difference, is you've got to feel it too, that you can trust them. And then you really keep most to yourself. The fact that you have 10 ounces of gold, you really don't need to say it to them. Maybe you give them an ounce or two for a birthday or something, but really you don't need to tell them I got 10 ounces of gold. You just have it. And then when the shit hits the fan and then gold goes way up, then you kind of said, okay, we're all set. I got gold. But I don't think you expose too much. I don't think you need to. Now, if they expose, let's say she has 10 ounces of gold, is she going to tell you she has 10 ounces of gold? Don't know. And that's really the problem, is I think you kind of be stoic and you just don't say a lot. And you be friendly and that, but you don't do that. Then you don't have to trust them. If you don't tell them you have gold, you don't have to worry about them taking your gold. And you kind of, you try to figure out how you trust people. And it's the look in the eye, and, that's all you can do, is kind of just watch them and watch how they are with other people. They seem nice with other people. Can you trust them? And I think that's all you can do to do that, and just see and give them a little at a time and gain their trust. It's that game yours. But the other stuff is different. So there's the two trust. There's the trust, you trust them with certain things. And then there's, are they going to steal my bag? Trust. So there's the two types. And really, that's all you can do. So today, if I would have watched that woman around other people and see, I don't have a clue. All I know is she was waiting for a kid to finish the swim lesson, and I'm in the other doing my running, and I'm watching my bag, and she got up and the kid was done and she left. So I didn't learn anything. I didn't learn if she's honest or not. I just learned she didn't take it, but I don't know why she didn't take it. So I think that's it. I think it's important to don't give them enough information that you need to trust them. Give them a little bit, test to see if you can trust them, and go. But I think in the other areas, I think the more you can learn about gold and economics and silver and football and poker, the more you know, then the less you trust the people that tell you the truth. So you don't have to trust Reichert, or you don't have to trust this guy Haller or people like that. You don't need to listen to them to trust them to know what's going on, because you already know what's going on. So I don't need to listen to this guy and trust him. Well, maybe some of the guys will say the exact things I say, and that and you go, oh, okay. And that's where I get into Egon and Alligator. So Egon, when he talks, I go, oh yeah, he understands like what we understand. So I can listen to him and see if there's anything new that he can help us out with. But a lot of these other guys, like on Mark McGuire's show, are just idiots. And so you can't even, why are you talking paper gold? Do you not understand what it is? And are you real? Or I can't trust you because you don't even know the difference between paper gold and physical gold. So what the hell would I want to listen to you for? So that listening ends in about 5 minutes after they start talking. Look at the graph on paper gold. Okay, it's derivatives. JP Morgan prints them, you idiots. It's got nothing to do with supply demand. It's just that free market. You can't track it. I don't want to listen. I don't want to know about a chart because you can't do it. All right. Anyway, good luck. So you got Alabama on January 1st. I'm scared. Let's go with Arizona. I think. Yeah. I guess. Oak State. Let's go with Oak State. Let's take a dog. We got Oak State, provided Ollie Gordon plays. So if we see Ollie Gordon playing, and this is the problem with bowls, we'll take Oak State as the free play. I like Arizona too, but I'll play a dog. So if A&M looks like, who knows if they're playing, and we know how good Ollie Gordon's playing, so we hope he plays. If he pulls out, then forget that, and we'll go to a different play. In the pros, I don't know. I just started looking at it. We do know who needs the games, and there's about 8 or 9 that I like right off the top, so I got to check injuries. Anyway, I think that's it. www.teaserking.com. Any questions or comments, please feel free to email me or please ask here. Bobby Bo, are you okay? We're a little worried. We haven't seen you for Christmas. And that's about it. So buy your gold and silver now. Just keep buying it and keep buying it and keep buying it. Don't worry about the price. It's going to go to the moon. It has to, because when the dollar goes out, and that has to, then the gold will go to the moon. So there's nothing they can do. They can't protect the dollar, or they would have done that in Rome. If they could have done it, believe me, the Romans would have done it, right? Or the Brits or the Spanish or the French. They all had the gold. If they could have done something, they would have. Obviously, they couldn't. And then people get smart and they start realizing it's worthless. And that's when they get out. And then they look for competition. So if I can't get in the dollar, oh, shit, the euro is not worth anything. The pound's not worth anything. Swiss franc, the yuan, the ruble, none of it's worth anything. My only out's gold and silver. And so then they start, how do I preserve my wealth? It's going into gold and silver. So it's simple. It's as simple as that. That's what you're trying to do, is preserve your wealth, not go broke. And the way to do it is to find a substitute or competition, and you go into that. All right, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Merry Christmas. New Year's coming up, and have a good day. All right, www.teaserking.com. So tonight, I think both games will be high scoring. We'll leave it at that, and let me go study my pros. All right. Have a nice day, everybody. Take care.